1, 2, 3, cheers. And we're live. Welcome back to another Ben and Brittany podcast. This is episode 2. Our first podcast went swimmingly and we got so much feedback, so we're here doing it again. And we just wanted to, we were thinking like, what could we talk about that's some real stuff. Because like anybody can get in front of a mic and talk about their day and kind of bullshit about, I did this the other day and it was fun. But like we kind of like talking about the stuff that nobody else wants to talk about. And I think it's about our own personal issues. And the one that we'll get to me. Don't you worry. But today, Brittany is going to take a step forward and kind of face your fears a little bit, right? Is it kind of like that?
I guess it would be.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about an issue that a lot of people probably deal with, and it's self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And you, in particularly, have self-confidence issues with weight and your appearance. Mm-hmm. So why don't you just take the floor a little bit and tell me about like where that came, like why? And well, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
But this is why I'm asking this question, because
there's so much. I don't know. That's just, it's very broad.
It is very broad.
Yeah.
But it's. I wanted to talk about this, and so did Brittany, because we have two very, very different perspectives, right? Like, you have you struggle with self-confidence a little bit, and I have like too much self-confidence to the point where I'm like an asshole.
But
so,
you're
like,
not.
I
You're
know,
not though.
I know I'm not mean. I'm not an asshole, but like I don't have self-confidence issues. I'm a pretty straightforward, confident person, I think, and I don't really care about the way I look. Obviously, I don't. I go on stage wearing a Aladdin t-shirt and gym shorts. But
that's fun. That makes you you.
Yeah. But like it's weird because I love you and you have very different issues than I do. And I think it's just really cool that we can get up here and talk about it. So you talk about a little bit about like what bothers you about your appearance and like your daily struggle with it. And I'm going to take the other side of the coin and like kind of ask you questions, cuz like a lot of the things that you're going to say I won't understand. So I think our listeners will get, they'll be able to relate to you, and the people that don't relate to you will be able to relate to me in the sense that like I get to ask the hard questions. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Really hard questions.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
So, do you want to just go?
Yeah, I think everybody has a different opinion on what beautiful is. And I think there's a very standard, common portrayal of what beauty is. And I think it also comes from if you were once skinny and always skinny, or once a certain way and always a certain way, it's hard when you change from that. So if you're used to being in one lifestyle and look at yourself in one way, and then it changes, even if it's for the better, it's still not what you're used to seeing when you look in the mirror or feeling every day. And I think that sometimes that change can be exciting, but sometimes that change can be dreadful. And for me, it was definitely, and still kind of is, dreadful.
But at the same time, I think it's a healthy thing.
It is.
It's a healthy change, but you dread it.
I needed it.
You needed it.
I needed it.
So what happened?
So I think I struggled with weight my whole life. Like I think my mom would tell you that like I didn't like clothes being too tight because I thought they always made me look fat. And I think I remember her telling me one time I was like 4 years old, and I made a comment about my thighs looking fat, like at 4.
At 4 years old, you were like, do I look fat?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just, but I think that comes from advertising, and like you never, until more recently, like now more recently, they're finally starting to put real women on covers of magazines and in like bra and underwear ads. But if you just go back maybe 5 years ago, that was not the case.
They're just putting like supermodel, like airbrushed, photoshopped bodies on there.
Stick thin, perfect people.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the skinniest in high school. I wasn't overweight by any means, but I got into running probably my senior year. And when I started running, some of the weight started to come off, which was probably good. Like some of that weight wasn't necessarily unhealthy, but it also wasn't healthy. Like it was okay to lose some.
But like how much did you weigh?
I think I was 125.
125?
Yeah. But I was, I ate a lot of ice cream and like I ate a lot of very unhealthy food. So I think getting into a healthy routine was at that point good for me. Maybe not necessarily to lose weight, but just to be eating healthy.
To have your body working at peak maximum potential.
And as the weight started melting off and I would see the number drop on the scale and my clothes were getting too big, like I almost became addicted.
You got addicted to it.
And I started, like I worked part-time and went to college full-time. And then I ended up actually working 2 jobs. But I would actually, I would wake up early, work out, shower, go to class, come home for lunch, work out, go to work, come home. If I didn't have my second job that night, I would work out again. If I had my second job, I didn't work out, but I was also on my feet the whole time. Mm-hmm. So the weight drastically started coming off, and I liked it. So by the time I was 21, I think I weighed 105 pounds. But there again, I liked it, because I was skinny and I had definition because I had been working out. But at the same time, I wasn't eating enough. So it's not like I had, most people when they work out, they might lose weight at first, but then they start kind of gaining weight or it balances because they're also gaining muscle.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that because I just wasn't eating. Like I would have a tablespoon of peanut butter for lunch.
Wow. Was that because you got addicted to losing weight? So you were like, let's keep this up? Or I
thought I was being healthy. Like I
thought eating less, you thought you were doing the right thing.
Right. Like I was like, oh, well, I'm not, instead of having peanut butter sandwich, I'm just having the peanut butter.
Yeah. Screw those carbs.
Yeah. And like I had, everything was carb free and like fat free. And I thought I was being healthy. But here, meanwhile, I was starving my body of necessary nutrients. So instead of building muscle, really I was just losing everything.
Yeah. You're kind of, I feel like, if you're doing all that working out and you're not eating, like you're treading water essentially. Like you're not going anywhere. Your body's just like, oh, I need nutrients, I'm not getting it. So like all this exercise is just making me tired. You're not feeding yourself. Right. But at the same time, you were like, I'm totally okay with that because my body is getting smaller.
Right. And I thought healthy was skinny.
Yeah. Back
then. And fast forward, I realized that that's not true at all. But in order, I got married and I wanted to have a baby, and my doctor kept telling me like, you're not going to get pregnant
because you're too skinny.
I was too underweight. I had no body fat. I also had like a number of other health issues, and it stemmed from what we found out was like I just wasn't having enough fat. Like we needed to add fat in my diet, and then
to eat milk and bacon.
Right, and then some of my health issues would actually get better, which is so weird, but that was my problem.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear somebody tell me that.
Fat-free is not the way to go. Like, you do need some fat. It's all about balance. It's truly all about balancing those nutrients. You don't want to completely get rid of fat. You don't want to completely get rid of carbs. Everything can be okay for you in small amounts. Yeah. But, so he kept telling me I needed to put on 20, and I'm sitting there, I remember, like, at my doctor appointment, like, trying to bargain with my doctor. Like, no, I'll gain 5 pounds. And he was like, not going to cut it. You need to gain 15. I was like, fine, 10. Like, like it was negotiable. So I started having, like, full-fat yogurt instead of the fat-free yogurt and different things. And it took about 9 months, but I finally put on the weight, and I got pregnant with Kaylin. After I had her, I got down... I gained a good bit of weight with Kaylin, but after I had her, I was able to lose most of it. And I think I got down to like 116. That became my new normal. But then things happened in my life that started to get stressful. Marriage just wasn't working out. things were happening that were not as planned. And the stress started to cause me to decrease in appetite. So I started to lose weight again. And that at that point, it wasn't by choice.
So because you were so, like, unhappy and stressed, it caused you to revert back to, like, just not eating again.
Right.
And that was comfortable for you. You found comfort in that?
It was just that I didn't even have an appetite. Like, I just wasn't hungry.
You were just like, screw it.
Yeah. It was like some people have, like, when they're stressed, they eat. And in that stress, I couldn't eat. Like, I just wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
So I started to lose weight. Ended up getting pregnant with Kinsley, which I don't regret at all. But at the time, I thought, well, maybe this would, like, revive things. And
to save your marriage.
To save my marriage. And then when I was pregnant with Kinsley, more things happened that actually put me into the hospital. They thought I was having a heart attack at one point, just because of the stress that was involved.
How did they think that?
My heart rate would not come down. Like, I had this thump in my chest. It felt like somebody hit me with a basketball. And after I felt that thump, my heart rate skyrocketed. And I could just be sitting here and it wouldn't come down. It felt like I had been running. And meanwhile,
you're having like a panic attack almost.
Right. Meanwhile, I was 6 months pregnant. Again, not eating. With Kaylin, I gained like 40 pounds. With Kinsley, I gained 20, which is pretty much the baby and the fluid that surrounded her.
And you were tiny before that.
Right. So
you were skin and bones pregnant.
Right, with Kinsley.
Having a panic attack.
And they thought, when I went to the emergency room, they hooked me up to 2 IVs. Like, I got the express lane. There was all these other people waiting, and they took me first. And if you've ever been to the ER, you normally wait like 4 to 5 hours. That time we had Kaylin in there for a fever.
Oh my God.
That's another story. But
just make that long story short. Brittany you are the nicest, like, sweetest person I've ever met in my entire life, and you were about to like choke the person behind the desk. You're just like, I've been here for 4 hours with a sick child. I don't know if she's okay or gonna die, and you're just sitting there. And what are you doing? Like, I was like, oh, go get him.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there, like, Kaylin was on my lap. And I was like, don't worry, mommy might kill somebody. Just close your eyes.
But you're going to get the care you need. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. So anyway, and that all came from just stress that was going on in my life. A lot of bad things were happening. I was very depressed. I was very anxious. I was very stressed, not eating, pregnant. And that's what they diagnosed me after being there for hours. Everything was fine. It was just, after talking to the doctor and telling them what was going on in my life, they realized you've got a lot of stress. After I had Kinsley, things did not get better. I got down to about 106 pounds very quickly.
I think you're skipping something though. Like, why were you stressed? I think it's safe to talk about it, right? Or no?
I mean, I guess I can talk about it.
You don't have to if you don't want to. I don't want to push you too far.
Do you think it's appropriate to talk about it?
I don't think we should really. I don't think we can. It doesn't matter.
We don't hold. It's up to you.
Pull no punches?
I guess the best way to put it is the girls have a really good biological father, in the sense that he is very good to them and he takes care of them. However, him and I just weren't good life partners. And because we weren't good life partners, we didn't communicate well.
Yeah.
And by not communicating well, there were financial secrets that I uncovered. And those financial secrets was a lot of debt that I did not know about. And I was unfortunately co-signed on.
So you were already unhappy.
I was already unhappy.
That was kind of like, threw in the like straw that broke the camel's back.
Right. And I'm not gonna blame anyone, because I'm sure, I didn't communicate well on things, and I always did the budget and the bills on my own, and they say it takes two, but there was just a mass amount of expenses that now needed to be taken care of with a second baby on the way.
Yeah.
And I honestly, at that point, I didn't know how we were going to make it. We had a mortgage, and we had car payments and student loans and all these bills, with a hospital bill coming on the way. And at that point, we were already kind of scraping to get by. And now when I put everything in our budget, we did not have enough money to pay bills and then also buy groceries.
Yeah.
So
because of all that stress of like just genuinely like being unhappy, and then the stress of finances and all that stuff, and that's what like just made you lose your appetite. Mm-hmm. And then you got down to 106
It got down to 106 pounds. Maybe it was 109 pounds at that point. I got down to 109 pounds. I started running again because that was my only escape, was when I was on the treadmill. I would go, at the time, we had like a finished basement, and I could put the girls in their play area in the basement, and I could see them from the play area while I was running. But it was like the only time that I had in my own thoughts.
Yeah.
And I could just run out the stress.
So your escape kind of like fed into losing more weight.
Right. And then I finally, came up to the nerve to leave, which we kind of talked about that last time. But when I moved in with my parents, the divorce did not go well. It was not easy in the beginning. There was a lot of hurdles. Obviously, understandably, the ex-husband was not happy, and that created issues, that created stress. I lost a lot of friends who only heard his side, didn't want to hear my side. I didn't want to tell them my side because, quite frankly, I felt like it wasn't any of their business. Mm-hmm. I wasn't trying to tell the whole world what happened, because at the end of the day, it hurt him more than it hurt me. Mm-hmm. And that's not what I wanted to do to the father of my kids.
Yeah.
I just wanted to leave and just try to be like, we should just have this even understanding that things aren't working. I'm unhappy. Clearly you must be unhappy to have this big of a secret and to not, just be upfront about it.
Yeah.
And anyway, I lost a lot of friends. Like, pretty much all my friends at that time quit talking to me because I was getting a divorce, and they threw the Bible at me and said things like, God wouldn't agree with your decision. And I finally just said, you don't know both sides of the story. I'm not going to waste my time explaining it to you.
Yeah, and if they're not going to back you
up. And
if
you were my friend, you would just
back me up unconditionally.
You would just support me. Like, you wouldn't take sides.
You'd be like, that's my friend. I trust her. She's making the right decision for her.
Right.
She's my friend.
Right.
But really, they were just like, this is not the way it should be. That sucks.
I mean, I went to church for an entire year to try to fix my marriage, because that's what people told me to do. So I did it. I went to church every Sunday for a year, and nothing happened. I did the Love Dare twice, if anybody knows what that is. It's supposed to be some step-by-step process. I tried. I offered counseling. Never happened. So, it's over when it's over. And I just knew in my heart that that's what I needed to do. But with that freeing feeling I got when I left and I went to my parents' house, at the same time, a lot of dark clouds came over, because I was constantly getting text messages and phone calls and Facebook messages from very, very negative people. And it was actually my mom and my old manager at Sterling who both kind of sat me down and was like, you just need to get rid of the negativity in your life. So if that means you just
That's true. That goes for every issue.
Oh, yeah.
That's not even that's so broad and unanimous, over any kind of issue. Negative people are cancers, and I tried my best to surround myself with all my best friends.
Oh yeah,
they're the most supportive, cool people ever.
Positive, honest, but at the same time, they'll tell you the truth even if it hurts.
Well, that's what I like about them.
But they give it to you in a way that it's constructive criticism.
Except for Clark. Clark is so funny about Clark.
That's different.
Matt Clark is my best friend, and when he tries to give me the truth, I disbelieve him when it comes to music. If I play a new song that I wrote for Clark and he doesn't like it, that's how I know it's good.
But you and Clark are also kind of bullies to each other.
Oh, for sure. We're best friends. We're brothers.
But if I had an issue and I wanted Clark's opinion, I could chat with him about it.
Yeah. If my car broke down in California and Clarkson, Pennsylvania, if I called him and said, "Hey man, my car broke down," he'd be like, "I'm on my way." Like,
sure.
But
anyway, so they said, if they're not meant to be your friend, they're not meant to be your friend. So
screw it.
For a good bit of time, I actually blocked those people because I didn't want to be sitting at my desk at work in a good mood, like getting stuff done. And I loved the people that I worked with. Like things were going well, and then to get this message on my phone that was negative. So I unfriended them on Facebook. I blocked them from text messaging me for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped.
So you're just like, I'm just trying to build my future. Like, I don't have time for this.
Right. But meanwhile, although like I felt like, okay, I'm making steps forward in my life, it was still a very hard transition. So even if it's to better yourself, just like when we went self-employed, we were bettering ourselves.
Yeah, that was a hard transition.
But
I can't even imagine going through what you went through, and then right after that, doing what you.
So
oh my gosh.
During the divorce process, that was only supposed to take 3 months, ended up taking 9 months. Is when I found out that I had to file bankruptcy because of all that debt that was created that I didn't know about. I could not get ahead. Anytime I would, I'd make a sale on a home and I would use that commission to pay down debt, it didn't matter because the other debt that was my ex-husband's responsibility wouldn't get paid on time, or it was still mounting because even if you do make a payment on it, you're just paying on interest at this point. So the debt kept going up instead of coming down. So my credit score kept tanking. And my lawyer's like, the only way out is to file bankruptcy, which crushed me.
Like,
I mean, you remember that.
You're like, that's the worst thing. Like, I can't do that. I remember, because you thought it was like the worst, like, stigma ever. Like, you were going to be pinned as the girl that filed bankruptcy. Like, you failed at life. Like, and you could not do it, and you had to throw in the towel. That's how you felt.
Well, and I felt like I'm a real estate agent. Yeah. And although I'm not a financial advisor,
who's going to work with a real estate agent that went bankrupt?
Yeah, who can't even, like, she's going to tell me to buy a house, and she can't even manage her own finances. Like, that's how I felt.
How's she going to manage mine?
So I fought that for a while, but I finally caved in and realized that was all I could do.
And it wasn't your fault. You had to do it to just cut ties, responsibility-wise, from your past. You were focused on the future.
Yeah, it was the only way. And it was the only way that I could not have to live at my parents' house for the next 5 years and have them support me and my 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like, it was the only way for me to know that I could get an apartment and move out and take care of them on my own was with if I got rid of that debt. And quite frankly, I didn't create that debt. So I had to remind myself that it wasn't my fault.
So I think...
But at the end of the whole point of telling you this is, through all of that, I kept losing weight. Yeah. Because I was stressed. And I was going through a lot. And although I had found Ben in the midst of that, and I was starting to feel happy, at the same time, I had gotten down to, at that point, when I met Ben, I was 103 pounds. I was a size 0, and they were big on me.
And you're kind of like uncovering this, like, this, I don't know what it is, but this realization that I just have about you, and like a lot of other people probably feel like, when you were like the most unhappy with the way that your life was going, you were the most happy with the way that you looked. Yes. Right? Yeah. And then...
Because I was like, wow, I've lost all this weight. I'm a size 0. I'm smaller than I was in high school.
Yeah. You're like, damn, I look good, but I don't want to talk about what's going on in my life.
Like I was super stressed. Yeah. But at the same time, you're right. Like I could walk into a store and I would get an extra small and it was too big.
And that made you happy.
And I that was a good problem to have.
Why? Why did that make you happy?
I don't know, because I looked like the models in the magazines. Like that's what I looked like. Yeah. In my opinion. The only thing
you're like whatever she's wearing, I could fit into that.
Yeah, like I could look good in that. Like I just felt like I could wear a bikini and not have to worry about like when I sat down if fat would hang over.
Like and that bothered you.
Yeah.
Even the slightest little.
I did not like you to be able to pinch anything.
You wanted a goddamn slate for a stomach.
Yeah. But at the same time, I was also going to the gym because that was my stress relief.
Yeah.
So I wasn't eating. I was going to the gym every day.
But you were like, yo, fuck this. Fuck this. I'm so unhappy. Like,
so, but then things started looking up. I was eating more because you and I were together and you were taking me out to dinner and we were making dinner together when I stayed with you.
Yeah, so as you got happier and more comfortable with your life, you started to gain weight.
I started
again.
to put weight back
because we were doing fun things together, like going out to eat and having a drink on a Wednesday night, or just having
wine
fun.
got introduced into my life,
and then we'd be out to dinner and we'd be like, oh, it's so great, I'm having a great time. The waitress asks if we want dessert and we're just like, yeah.
Bring it.
Next thing you know, the scale's going up. So let's talk about that. So like, as you got happier, like, why did you, like, in my eyes, you went from being super skinny, like super, like almost unhealthily skinny. I didn't notice at the time, but now I see pictures of you now, and then I see pictures of you then, and I'm like, wow, like you were skin and bones, and you look so much healthier now. But like, it's so funny because like a lot of people I feel like struggle with like the fact that they want to eat and they can't lose weight, and their problem is that they weigh too much and they're trying to get skinny, and your problem was like you were happy being 100 pounds and you struggled with gaining weight, like even if you wanted to at first. Yeah,
but now
it's just kind of opposite.
Like
a lot of people are large and struggle to lose weight, and you were skinny and struggled to gain weight.
And then when I did gain weight, I struggled with the fact that I gained weight.
You struggled with coping with it. Even though you looked better, and you look better now, I think. I know you don't think. You still struggle with it.
Yeah, I mean, the first time when I started to realize that my pants didn't fit, I started to be like, okay, I need to eat less, or I need to work out more. But going self-employed, it was making it like more and more difficult to always find time to work out. And we got sick there for a while. Like Kaylin brought home colds, and we kind of got out of our routine for a little bit. But we were still, and at this point, when you moved in, which was almost right away, after I got the apartment, like we were cooking all the time, and now it wasn't every other week that I was eating when I was with you. It was all the time. Because when I was at my parents' house, I didn't eat too much because like I wasn't happy there. Not because I love my parents and I needed them, but I wasn't happy when I was alone. So I didn't feel the need to eat. But when I was with you, we would eat.
We would always eat because I am the opposite of you.
Yeah.
Like,
but after
you were trying to consume 1,200 calories a day, and I'm trying to consume 6,000.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, I gotta go to the gym, and I gotta eat to get bigger and stronger. And you're just over here, like, eating 2 bites of popcorn for dinner.
Yeah.
Like, look at you. You're doing it right now.
Well, and it's funny because whenever it was, like, this fall, and I finally made, like I admitted to you, no, it was winter. I was like, Ben, I need new clothes.
Yeah.
And so Ben took me to the outlets to go shopping. And at this point now, I'm at 122. Okay, so I went from 103 pounds to 122 pounds, which is a healthy weight for my body size. I'm 5'3". And I kept telling myself, this is good for you. Like, you needed this. Like, you just eat now. Like, that's the difference. Like, you actually eat. But then I would start nitpicking. Like, well, the other night we had pizza. Like, I could have had salad. Or I had peanut butter and jelly. Like, I didn't have to have the jelly on there.
Yeah, and you count every calorie now, still.
Yeah, I have an app. I plug in all my food. Or, well, if I didn't have that glass of wine, or, like, I would start to punish myself.
You do, like, a cost-benefit analysis after every day?
Yeah, like, yeah, I had fun when I had that glass of wine, and it helped me just kind of, like, the day. But now I'm 200 calories over my daily limit, and now I'm just going to gain more weight. Like, it's a very hard mental struggle. Like, I want to eat and have fun and drink and have fun, but then I also want to be skinny, and, like, you really can't do both.
And I just, from my perspective, like, on the other side of you. Like, I just saw you get back to what your natural, like, your human body weight should be. I think everybody has, like, a natural baseline. And I think you're just now getting there. But you're struggling because your baseline for so long when you were unhappy was 106.
Because I was under 110 pounds
for so long.
Like 10 years.
Yeah.
And now I was putting weight back on.
Were you stressed for 10 years? Like, unhappy for 10 years? Or were you, like that's where your baseline started and then...
I would say, like, I just got a little obsessive with the working out. And I thought that I was eating healthy. And then... stress started, unfortunately, early on in my marriage.
So you gaining weight now is, like, pretty recent of you breaking out of your shell in a whole, like, timeline. That's crazy. Yeah. I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah. It was a very long time.
And it's
so
weird.
So living like that for that long, seeing myself one way, very skinny, and now putting on this weight, although healthy for me, it's still very hard mentally. Like, how many times would we go to the outlets and we were supposed to buy me clothes and we would just leave?
Yeah,
I would literally...
It would be so stressful.
I would literally cry in the dressing room.
You would.
Because I could not handle the fact that I wasn't a size 0 anymore, wasn't a size 2 anymore, and in some stores, not a size 4 anymore.
And I started to get a little frustrated because ever since we started being together, you were always... asking me, how do I look? You know, and I'm like, beautiful. Like, I love the way you look. And then as you started to gain weight, you would just disagree with me. You'd be like, how do I look? And I'd be like, you look beautiful. You look great. Let's go. And you'd be like, you're just saying that because you love me. Like, I look terrible. And it got frustrating for me.
I know.
Because it would take us an extra 30 minutes to get out of the house because you would just be in front of the mirror like, it's hanging. Look at my butt. And I'm just like, babe, oh my God. Like, I wish you saw what I saw. Like, I don't know where you're just formulating this, like, phantom obeseness. And
I never thought I was obese.
You know what I mean. But, like, that was how I was feeling at the time. I was, you know, it's just like after so many times of, you know, trying to be, like, supportive and telling you you're beautiful, like, after so many times of you disagreeing with me or, like, not accepting my compliments or asking me telling you the truth, and then you'd be like, you're lying, like, I started to get frustrated. And we actually got into, not an argument, but, like, we would be chippy, and you'd come out and you'd be like, babe, does this make me look fat? I don't know, it's so tight, I don't fit through it. And I'm like, babe, are we really going to do this again today? We did this the past, every day this week. You've come out of that bathroom and you asked me how you looked and you were upset and you were mad, and I was like, this is rubbing off on me. Like, your frustration in front of the mirror is frustrating me. So, like, we had that whole thing where we had to, like, for a long time I was trying to tell you, like, babe, like, you just need to accept that, like, you're happy now. And that this is the new you, and you got to leave that all behind. And you just didn't want to. You were like, screw that, like, excuse me. You're like, I'm getting back to 106 because we met when you were 106 pounds. And you were afraid that you were going to gain weight. And I got down to 103
during the divorce part.
And you were afraid that, like, if you gained weight, I was going to find you unattractive. And that's not how love works, Brittany.
I know. I know.
I know. We know that now.
It really took me until when I saw that one picture when I was helping Jen move.
How thin you looked. And I mentioned that earlier.
And I was like, and I saw that picture and I was like, my legs bowed.
Yeah.
And my face looked like a skeleton, like my cheeks were caved in. And I wasn't wearing makeup that day, so it wasn't bronzer, like, it wasn't contouring.
Yeah.
It was just, that was me. I was super skinny. And then I looked at a photo of us with the sunglasses and I was like, I do look better. Like, I do look healthier.
You look healthier. You look hotter.
And it just took me to see those photos, like, side by side like that. And that's why I shared it on Facebook for those who follow me on Facebook. Like, that's why I did that, because I was like, you know what? There's other women out there who are struggling with what I struggle with right now, which is once being super skinny and having to face the fact that healthy is not skinny, because it's not. I had more colds, more illnesses when I was that skinny, because my body couldn't fight anything. It had nothing to fight with.
you had an ounce of fat on your body, and it was your earlobe.
And I also just had to realize that being able to enjoy life is much more important than the size on my pants. Now that's easier said than done. Like I can tell you that right now, but I still have days where sometimes when I have a little bit of a struggle like buttoning my pants, or because they just came out of the dryer, so they're a little snug, and I'm like, they're tight.
You're like, I had a donut yesterday, and look, oh my god! And I'm
it's a work in progress. My brain is not going to change overnight, but I at least I have that realization of this is so much more worth it. Yeah. I'd rather have balance. The balance of eating healthy most of the time, but being able to have pizza once a week.
Yeah.
And working out most days, but not every day.
Yeah.
And being able to have a glass of wine maybe 1 or 2 nights a week, or being able to go to a family picnic and being able to try what everybody brought versus only having the carrots.
And if Dad cooks prime rib,
we're eating prime rib.
God damn it, you're having prime rib.
Yeah. And it also comes down to too, we have 2 little girls, and I don't want them following those same footsteps. So if they constantly only would see Mom eat a little bit of salad and working out all the time, what do you think they're going to do? Yeah. They're eventually going to do the same thing, because they're going to be like, well, Mom said that's healthy. Mm-hmm. It's not.
It's really not.
It's about finding balance, and it's about...
It's healthy. It's healthy if you're happy as hell, and that's just what your body thrives on. But if you're doing it and you're not able to enjoy life, that's unhealthy.
Right.
It's unhealthy for your psyche.
Yeah. I think I was more depressed more than I was happy. Mm-hmm. Because I was definitely skipping out on a lot of fun activities because I didn't want to gain weight.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I didn't know which one it was. Which one was more important to you for the longest time. I didn't know if you cared more about the way you looked in the mirror and the way you felt, or the number on the scale. For example, if you were super toned up, skin hot, but the scale said you were 130, would you be like, yo, screw that?
No.
Or if you were I don't know, skinny fat at 100 pounds, would that bother you? Or I didn't know, because you were to me, most times you would just be looking like you were in the best shape that I've seen you in, and the scale went up 2 pounds and you were pissed about it. Pissed. And I'm like, you look hotter. What are you talking about?
I think I'm pissed because I'm not looking at the scale rising because of muscle. I look at it as because I had a donut the other day.
Yeah, but the reality was, when you were working out, we were doing weight training and stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you were gaining weight and losing fat, the number goes up because muscle weighs more than fat. Scientifically.
I think it's more my pant size.
Yeah. Your pant size, if you fit into the same pants that you've fit into for a long time, that's the deal breaker. If you don't fit into your pants, you're pissed. Yeah. Even if it's extreme hotness, toned butt and legs, if you don't fit into those pants, you're pissed.
I don't know. I can't answer that. Huh. Maybe it is just how I look in the mirror. Because even when I'm naked, I look in the mirror and I'm like,
I look in the mirror and I'm like,
all I see is fat around my belly button, fat underneath my butt. I call it a double butt. Cellulite, which is hereditary. I've had that even at my skinniest, actually. I had cellulite on my thighs.
I think you're super hot.
But I think it's just that. It's because my body doesn't look like the swimsuit models. My body doesn't look like...
I don't look like a bodybuilder. I don't look like Zac Efron.
I don't want
That's the first name I thought of.
That's weird. It's because we watched that movie.
Yeah, what was that called? The Ted Bundy movie?
It was a quote.
I don't know what it was.
But anyway.
Oh yeah, it was evil and murderous or something.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah.
But basically...
That guy's ripped though. I'm not that.
I don't want you to be that.
No. You want me to be soft. So when you lay your head on my chest, it's gushy. And,
It's
and it's comfy. And I want you to be happy with your weight, so I got a whole lot to grab onto. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I think at the end of the day, because the funny thing is I only think that about myself. When I see women bigger than me, I'm always thinking to myself, like, they're beautiful. And they carry themselves well. And they look awesome in their clothes. And why wouldn't I? Like, and they wear things that I want to wear. And I'm sitting here like, why am I thinking that? Like, I'm so harsh on myself. Meanwhile, I don't think skinny is beautiful.
Confidence is beautiful.
But that's what I don't have.
Well, when you do have it is when you're at your sexiest. And I think that's why, like, some, like larger women and, like, bigger dudes can be very, very attractive, because confidence, if you exude confidence, I think that is unanimously attractive, no matter what you look like. Like, obviously, there's an aspect of physical attraction that results in people, like, falling in love, or, you know, going out on the first date and, like, wanting to talk to this person at the bar, or being nervous around them because they're physically attractive. But I think even more than that is confidence. If you exude confidence, you
But
you
I
just
don't,
have the ability to control a conversation a little bit better, you know?
I guess. But I don't exude confidence when it comes time to how I look at all. So,
Sometimes you do.
So then you shouldn't find me attractive at all. If
I do
that's
find
true.
you attractive because I...
That's all I'm saying.
You, baby, when I met you, you exuded confidence. You know why? Because you were wasted. When I first met you, you had a couple beers in you, and you were the most confident person in the room.
I was also 106 pounds.
Yeah, I know, but, like...
I'm just saying, it's a double-edged sword when you say that comment.
I guess that's true. Well, I guess you had confidence then because you like the way you look. Mm-hmm. But you were unhappy. So that's interesting too. You had more confidence because you were happy with your appearance. Mm-hmm. But your life was not where it needed to be.
No.
So, like, you think you have less confidence now than you did then?
Depends on what you're talking about.
I don't know, in general.
I have more confidence when I'm talking about real estate.
Yeah.
I'm really good at that.
I think you have more confidence in the ability to talk about where you came from and where you are now. Like, I used to, like, we're in front of a camera right now.
Yeah.
And we're filming this whole thing. I used to have to fight Brittany to get in front of a camera. Or, like, if I pointed it at her, she would run. It was, you were so not into that. And now you're building it.
Mm-hmm. I think I am learning to be comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
I am learning to realize that this is the way that my body should be, not at 103 pounds. So, it takes time, and I can be good for several days. But then I have one bad day. And that one bad day sometimes is really hard.
Yeah. But
then I get myself out of it. It's just kind of like quitting smoking.
Oh.
I really think it is. It's you have a couple of days where you're like, I don't want a cigarette.
That's something I can relate to, because I want a cigarette right now. I haven't had a cigarette for 7 days now. 7 days. Before that, I was smoking a pack every 3 days or something. A lot of people know that about me, but a lot of people that just follow me online, like, they don't know that I smoke cigarettes. And it got to a point where, like, I was just... You hated it. Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't mind it. You didn't mind me smelling like cigarettes.
I didn't mind that he smoked.
You hated...
I hated how much it interrupted our life.
Yeah.
Or, like, how many times he'd be like, come outside with me. And, like, I wanted to be with him, but it was also 30 degrees outside, and I didn't feel like sitting on the balcony.
Yeah, and you would just be like, let's watch a movie and cuddle. I don't, like, why do you need to leave for 10 minutes? Why? Mm-hmm. Like... Yeah. And
then I would get tired and, like, just want to fall asleep then, because then I was just sitting there waiting and I'd get bored. But I mean, it's the same thing. It's an addiction.
It is.
I got addicted to the way I looked, and it's just a mental thing of reminding myself that skinny is not healthy, and I'm definitely an advocate for that. Like, it is not. To be skinnier doesn't necessarily mean healthier. So, I've known of women who got gastric bypass and lost the weight way too quickly, and now they have diabetes. It's balancing. And I think it's just finding I don't ever think there's a perfect way to balance. I do think it's balancing. Some days you're good. Some days maybe you allow yourself to have pizza.
So if anything other than that, what would you say to somebody that has the same issue as you?
That they are beautiful and that they have to stop looking in the mirror for reassurance.
And what if they look at you and say, easy for you to say? Or like they just disagree with you? Because you did that to me a lot. Because I told you that. And you were just like, whatever, you're just saying that. That's why I asked you that question, because I was like, I feel like everybody that has the issue that you have has a rebuttal to compliments.
I think as humans, we are all naturally harder on ourselves. And I think that's in every aspect of life. So that's why you just need to quit looking in the mirror so hard.
Yeah, I think
nobody, if you think about it, when you look in a mirror at yourself, nobody's looking at you the way you're looking at yourself. Like, nobody's getting this close to you.
Yeah. And nobody's like looking at your armpit hairs.
And like, yeah, nobody's staring at you so hard that they can notice that your stomach goes out over your pants just a little bit. Like, nobody's paying that close attention.
Yeah.
But you, because you're your worst critic. And I think that's all I would say. And that it just takes time.
Yeah.
And that unless your doctor is telling you that you need to lose weight, even then, sometimes tell them to go F it. Like, you know your body better than anybody else. Mm-hmm. So as long as you're comfortable in the skin you're in, then you're beautiful. And if you're not comfortable, and maybe it's you're underweight and you need to gain weight, you just need to keep, like, I just have to keep reminding myself, skinny is not healthy. Skinny is not healthy. And the people in those magazines that we see, they're fake. That they don't really look like that in person.
Or if they do,
they're not
takes
happy.
Like those people that look like that, that's their job. That's their full-time job. Like, that's hard. You know? Yeah. It's not easy, and it's not for everybody. If you're one of those people, I think that like you love working out and you love eating healthy, and doing those things kind of like makes you happy and you get a lot of joy out of doing that, that's all fine and great. Go do that. Mm-hmm. But if you're one of those people that's just like, I can't have a glass of wine today, or I can't have a cheesesteak sandwich from the local pizza shop because that's not going to make me, I'm going to get ugly for doing that, even though I'm going to enjoy it. Like, if you're one of those people, I think it goes back to our first podcast where you just got to own yourself and do you know? I think everyone, a lot of people, including myself a lot of times, have an issue with what other people think, or what you think other people think, when really, like, you could be the one like sitting in the cafeteria at college or high school, and like for some reason you think everyone's looking at you. Nobody's looking at you. The world does not revolve around you. Nobody's like, I don't know how to say that. You're not the center of the universe, and everybody's not looking at you and judging you all the time.
Yeah, I don't think it's that the world doesn't revolve around you, because I don't think those people think that. I think those people are just worried.
Yeah.
And they're just self-conscious.
That's true. Yeah,
and most of the time,
I probably did say that way wrong.
It was a little harsh, but I think that's okay.
That's how I felt in college when I smoked weed and went into the cafeteria, and this is why I said this. I thought everybody in the cafeteria was looking at me. Nobody was looking at me.
Nobody was looking at you. No.
And like that's because I had when you smoke weed, you get paranoid and you have for real self-confidence issues. And like me being a person that doesn't struggle with that on a regular basis, like that was my run-in with that. Or something like that. I can honestly say like my self-confidence was at the bottom when that one day when I was high in the cafeteria surrounded by people. Like, if my best friend could have came up to me and said, "What's up, man?" I would have been like, "Nothing, stop!" Like, is that bad?
I don't know.
That's just how I felt. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
So
cool. I used to not be able to tell people about the bankruptcy, and now I can, because now I realized the more people I talk about it, the more people who've actually gotten through it.
Yeah.
You can come back from that. It's actually not as bad as it used to be. Like 20 years ago, bankruptcy was like the end of the world, and now I can buy a house in 3 years. Mm-hmm. So it's not terrible. My credit score's already gone up over 100 points. because I've been working really hard.
Yeah, I mean, right there, what we're talking about right now is one of my issues.
And that's another podcast, I guess.
Another podcast. Well, just stay tuned because my credit score is like 1.
That's not true. But it's low.
Bad. When I grew up, I had no idea. I never learned how to use the bank system, and I always thought it was like BS. I was just like, they ain't gonna come for me. They got bigger fish to fry. I don't care about those bills. Like, screw it. I'm not gonna pay. Next thing you know, the IRS is actually they're ready to mess with me.
The IRS is garnishing Ben's tax return.
Yeah, so that's not good.
But we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. So I might possibly be the worst person with financials, and Brittany might possibly be the best. So, hey, how you doing? I'm Ben. Nice to meet you. Fix me.
I am.
You're beautiful.
That's why we have a budget now.
Yeah.
That we look at together.
Yep.
I don't do that alone.
No, because I'm learning. Like, I'm literally, like, if I was learning how to ride a bike, my training wheels are still on the bike when it comes to finances and budgeting and using banks and accounts and all this stuff. Like, I'm 28 years old, guys. I don't know shit.
Well.
But I do now, at least a little bit.
Yeah, we have a financial advisor, and we're working on all the things that we need to work on. You help me with self-confidence. I help you with budget.
Yeah. And laundry.
And cleaning.
Hey, I'm getting better at that.
You are getting better at that. You did the dishes today, thank you.
And you're getting better at not cleaning too much.
Yeah, that was another thing.
Yeah. When I first started living with Brittany, like every day she would take a toothbrush to the wall.
Okay.
Not that bad. But like she was OCD, like
I vacuumed almost every day.
Every day. Everything had a place. If something was out of place.
I had to wipe everything down almost every day.
Yeah. And, to make a long story short, our home did not feel like a home. It felt like a model. And I didn't like it.
I mean, I am a realtor.
I know.
Staging is kind of like
but I'm a human.
an essential part of my job. So for some reason, I had this feeling like my home had to be photo ready. Like stage photo ready.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because Ben has been helping Dave do like real estate videos.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, tisk on Dave for not telling that seller to take the lotion off of his counter.
Yeah, I just did my first like high-end real estate shoot.
It was a great video.
And I filmed the bathroom and there was like lotion on the counter and Brittany's like, I would have never got that in the shot. And I was like, oh God. It looks good.
But my eyes can catch those things because like I trained to do that. Like you're trained to do that. And like I guess, and I grew up that way too. Like my mom's a very clean person. She's OCD about cleaning. So I kind of got that from her. Mm-hmm. And then I took it to the next level when I got into real estate. And then I was like, well, if I'm a realtor, like same thing with the bankruptcy thing, like people aren't going to want to work with me if I can't keep my home looking pretty when I'm telling them to pretty up their home for showings. Like I got to have my house show ready too.
Yeah. And I'm the opposite of those.
Meanwhile, that's not true. It's okay. I'm the only one that notices that there's coffee grounds on that coffee bar.
Oh, I wasn't going to say nothing.
I'm just saying.
I'm the only one. I'm surprised you noticed because you never go over there.
Yes, I do. I add cream and sugar.
Sometimes. I make coffee for Brittany every morning.
And I straighten
For those of you
up.
men that don't do that for your females, you're losing out on so many brownie points. It's not even funny. It's so easy to do. It's so easy. That's like a cheat code. That's a life hack. Mm-hmm. Wake up 5 minutes earlier than your wife and make her coffee. Life hack. You will not argue about half the shit that you probably argue about.
Go ahead, show everybody your early Father's Day present.
My early Father's Day present. I got that is a smartwatch. Want to know how it happened? I broke my phone, so I got a smartwatch. That's the short story. The long version is I broke my phone. I needed a new one.
My phone quit working.
And she needed a new one too. So we went together, and with our upgrade and both getting new phones, this smartwatch was going to be, it was only $100. And we both knew, come on. I got Brittany a Fitbit for Mother's Day. So I knew I was getting a Fitbit for Father's Day. and a Fitbit is $100. This thing does probably 1/5 of what this smartwatch does for $100. What's up?
Yeah, so meanwhile, I get the cheaper $100 item that does less. And Ben gets...
I get this ballin' like home entertainment system that straps to my wrist, and it's awesome. I do love it. Today's the first day that I had it on, and I love it. It's comfortable. It just... everything just... it goes straight to my watch. I don't have to have my big-ass Galaxy Note 8 in my gym shorts pocket all the time.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But, okay. So, you know, I hope if any of you listening that have self-confidence issues, weight issues, benefited something from this. I think our next podcast is going to be a fun one. We wanted to just kind of like, we didn't want our podcast to be just BS. We wanted to really touch on some real, real issues that like we struggle with.
Yeah, you know? I think it comes down to is you are not alone, because I always thought I was.
Yeah.
But when I put that photo on Facebook, so many people commented, like, I deal with weight struggles every day.
Yeah, so we knew.
And because I thought I was going to get backlash. Like, people were going to be like, you're too skinny to have to, like, worry about weight gain. But really, I got a lot of really great feedback of just women saying, I struggle with this every day, too. And I think it's great that you're putting this out there. And you're right, skinny is not healthy. But it's still a struggle, and it was well received and well respected.
That was one of the things that kind of led us to being like, yo, we should like do videos.
Yeah, because
like,
I think
that was one of the kickers for us doing the podcast, because we're like, man,
we've gone through...
I always thought that you could be an inspiration, because you inspire me. So like, you do. I'm serious about that. I'm not just saying that to like, you know, you're a very inspiring person, and I feel like your lack of wanting to be in front of a camera is it's a shame. I feel like you need to share yourself with everybody. So that's why we're doing this. It's pretty much, Brittany. I love you.
I think I love you. Well, I know I love you, but I think that...
Why'd you say that like I don't know? I'm still thinking about it.
I was going to say I think about a different topic, and then you said that before my thought could come out.
Sorry.
I was just going to say that I think... we've both gone through hard times that other people have gone through, but that people don't like to talk about.
No, because it's like embarrassing, or
they
think that somebody's going to judge them for going through that. Like, you went through that, not me. You're
or they
loser.
don't have anyone to talk to.
That's true too.
That's another part of it. Like, if you don't have someone to talk to, it just feels good to know that there's other people who went through it and came out on the other side okay. And we're doing more than okay. We're still kind of fighting a little uphill battle with, you know, being self-employed and stuff, and I'm still kind of overcoming my self-confidence issues, but we're improving every single day, and we're getting better at our jobs every single day. We're getting better at balancing life every single day.
I think if we've been down that road, we've been down to the bottom of the valley, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And we're climbing back up the mountain. And for those of you who are descending into that valley, or are at the bottom of that valley, like, you're not going to stay there. But you do have to do something about it.
You do have to do something.
You have to work your ass off,
and
whether it's mentally or physically, to get yourself out of there. And as long as you do that and you have the motivation and will to do it, like, you're going to be just fine. So don't wait for, like, tomorrow to come and all of a sudden it's going to be better, because it's
and don't wait until Monday. Everybody's always like, oh, I'll start Monday. No. Like, just
what you don't do today never happens.
Just do it now. And, you know, the best decision oftentimes is not the easy decision.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer a couple questions?
Yeah, we'll do a quick Q&A as per the Facebook request.
Yeah, we didn't know if we should do like a whole podcast of Q&A. So like I just went right before we started this podcast, I just went on and I picked 3 random questions and we wrote them down. So we're going to answer these. Mm-hmm. Dawn Carmichael Graff says, she's pretty much says, you guys are tri-parenting. How do you make it work? Meaning, I am a stepdad, and Brittany is a biological mother. The girls, Kaylin and Kinsley, both have a biological father who is a great father. He's in the picture. For a lot of people, I think I made a post one time, and somebody said something about like, oh, it's so awesome that you step into the real father's shoes and take his place, and like that's not at all how it is. I don't want anybody to think that.
The girls have a great dad who's very involved.
Yeah.
Ben just is a great stepfather who's also very involved.
Yeah. And I love those kids like they're mine.
He loves them like they're his own. They're very loved girls, and that's one of the things that we talk to them about is sometimes it comes up with, our family's different than other people's families because Kaylin's only in kindergarten, so she hasn't been exposed to different types of families, and so we had to kind of have that talk that some families have 2 parents, 3 parents, 4 parents. Some little boys and girls live with grandparents, and that's okay, and some have 2 moms, some have 2 dads, and we just kind of went over this whole thing that all families look different. And the best part is they get to be loved by so many more people, because not only are they loved by mom and dad, they're loved by their stepdad, and they're loved by their Mimi and his grandparents, Mama and Papa, and his family.
They have 2 families.
They have 3 families.
Whole different families. Well, yeah, 3 families.
So they have so much love.
And I think that it was apparent. We noticed it for the first time when Kaylin, the oldest one, 5, she starts to realize that, holy crap, birthday comes around, I'm getting mad gifts. She'll be like, well, let's use Christmas morning for example. That was a rough one for you, but we won't get into that. But the fact of the matter was, the girls woke up Christmas morning here, opened up the gifts, had the magical experience of Christmas morning, and I got to experience what it was like to be Christmas morning with a family for the first time ever, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And then as soon as they were done with presents, out the door they went to Dad's house, and we were just like, phew. And Kaylin was the one that wanted to go. You know why?
She knew.
Because she opened up her last present, was like, this is awesome! Can I go to Dad's? I know there's more presents over there. I know there is.
Yeah, Santa went there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's kind of tough. Splitting holidays is tough, but I think the main thing for being a tri-parent or split families is just communication and making things work, because nobody's life really.
And we're all still learning. It's like a work in progress because it is still kind of new. Kaylin went to school this year, and sometimes things get sent home when she's at Dad's, or they get sent home when she's at Mom's, picture day or field day announcements, things like that. So we try to take pictures of it and send it to each other, so that way we both realize important dates of things.
Yeah.
If I got something sent home in the mail for her that he should probably know about, I try to make sure I take a picture of it and send it to him. Mm-hmm. But it's a work in progress, because you're also dealing with 2 little kids who
they're 5 and 2.
They're 5 and 2, so they don't remember to pack their shoes in their bag. So
because how could they? They're 5 and 2. They're
right.
Kids.
So then it's.
I don't remember that stuff. I'm 28.
Right. So then it's at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're trying to get them ready, yourself ready for work, your everyday routine. And oh crap, today's Wednesday, so that means you're going to your dad's house. Now I also got to remember to send this, and this. So it's just, I think it's a constant work in progress, and we're all working to make it better. But it's, we try to be respectful. There's different rules at my house than at Dad's house, and
that's what I was gonna say. If
the
there's
girls
one
know
big
that
thing, I think parents need to understand and respect that rules are different in each household.
Mm-hmm. And we don't control what happens over there, and they don't control what happens over here. And
as much as you try to agree on these are the rules, that's not always how it goes.
Right.
So you just got to respect it, and the kids will come to learn that. It's obviously a transition, but they'll learn. They're smart. Kids are a lot smarter than you give them credit for.
You just have to let go of the fact that you can't control what happens in the other house too. Yeah. And as long as you stand by your rules here, the kids are smart and they adapt. It took them a little bit, but then they started to realize what time bedtime was at Mom's and what time bedtime is at Dad's. And
bedtime is no problem now.
Yeah.
Wow. It used to be a big issue.
We did sleep training and we stuck to it. And really it's just being consistent. Mm-hmm. If you're consistent, they figure it out. But I think respect and communication are the best 2 things I can suggest for the tri-parenting thing. Word.
Okay. Second question comes from Amanda McCary. Name a song that makes you think of each other.
Clarence Carter.
That makes you think of me?
Because you always play it.
I be stroking.
You said
I stroke it to the east, and I stroke it to the west. I stroke it to the woman that I love the best. I be stroking.
You said that was going to be our wedding song.
That's going to be our wedding song. Mm-hmm. Oh man, your dad's going to be horrified. It's going to be great. I'm just going to grab onto your booty and bounce up and down like I be stroking.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I hope he doesn't listen to this.
I don't know, what other songs make you think of me?
Silver Wings by Merle Haggard. That is Brittany's favorite song.
Of all time.
I can't not think of you when I hear that song. Like, I didn't learn the whole thing. Well, I did.
You need to.
I need to. There's only like 7 words.
Mm-hmm. It's a short song.
Yeah. So, Silver Wings by Merle Haggard is the one that I think of Brittany for. Third question. Margaret Kaufman Dunnan. How do you keep your careers, goals, relationships, and kids from getting too confusing and insane? And the answer to that is...
Systems.
Applications.
We have a system for our system.
Google Calendar, Mint for finances, QuickBooks Self-Employed. That's it. There's more. There's probably more.
I don't know.
What am I thinking of?
We do Peapod.
Oh, Peapod. Yeah,
We do.
Peapod. We get our groceries delivered.
So basically,
Try taking 2 kids to get a pack of hot dogs at Giant. Try it.
Yeah.
Try it. I dare. I bet you $1 million you walk out with way more than a pack of freaking hot dogs.
And like,
and you'll spend an hour there.
Yeah, instead of it being a 5-minute run.
Next thing you know, you're getting fired because you spent too much time at the grocery store. No, I'm just kidding.
Basically, at the end of the day, it's just you simplify, simplify, simplify. If you can do something to make it easier and quicker, a lot of times we sacrifice maybe cost over, we go for convenience is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we'll spend the extra $1 for convenient.
When it comes time to grocery delivery, though, the $7 we pay for delivery, I think we save.
$8.
I think we save
Yeah.
because we're not getting tempted by everything that's in. Like we meal.
That's the biggest thing that I love doing.
We meal plan.
Meal plans. Yeah.
That helps, and like basically Sunday nights are meal planning and calendar review. So that's when we're looking at our calendar. Now, both of our jobs...
We sound so boring.
I know, we do.
But that's true. Like, this is what keeps you afloat in 2019. This is what keeps you afloat in 2019. Meal planning and calendar review.
Yeah. Both of our jobs mean that appointments can pop up throughout the week. So just because you look at it Sunday doesn't mean it's not going to change. But at least gives us a pretty big overview. If we have an evening that's stacked full of appointments, or like on days that he has band practice, like we can meal plan around that. That's going to make it the easiest for our schedules.
Yeah, and then once we meal plan, we know what we're going to have. Then we just go to Peapod. We pick out the ingredients or items that we need for that week. It comes straight to the house. We don't have any extra filler. We're not buying candy bars at the checkout because the kids grab them. We're not buying extra toys that they play with for 5 minutes and then they go in the trash because they can't leave the store without it. We're not spending an hour and a half twice a week at a grocery store because we have to take the kids and we forgot something the first time and we have to go back.
Right.
Like, we don't do that anymore. And that hour and a half, both of us make way more than $8 an hour.
Yeah.
So why not just spend that to have them delivered right to our door in the most efficient way possible? Like, it's just about efficiency to keep everything in track.
And we live by our calendars. Like,
yeah.
We have it color coded so Ben knows when it's a shared calendar. We can share a Google
Blue
calendar.
is for small town titans.
Yeah. And purple is Ben and the whole family. So
Yes,
he knows
family.
that is a family commitment that he needs to be a part of. Pink means it's something with the girls.
I love the way you say pink.
And he can be a part of it if he can, but it's one of those things that are, if there's something going on with the band, that can be a priority. But just so you know, this is what's happening.
It's penciled in.
It's penciled in.
Yeah.
But purple is family, pink is girls related, and what is it for you? On my calendar is a different color pink for like my appointments.
Yeah, it's like a mauve.
Yeah, I like pink, so it's like different shades of pink.
Yeah.
Pink and gray.
Sometimes they
like
blend
on my
together,
calendar,
not gonna
your
lie.
Small Town Titans events are gray.
Oh, mine are blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do that so that way I know, like, okay, Ben has a show Saturday, so, like, don't plan something that I would like him to be there with on that day. So
Yep.
we just...
Efficiency
and communication.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
And transparency. We're always very transparent with
that's
each
the
other.
last question. For those of you who watch, you can see how bad my handwriting is. I have to scribble a bunch of stuff out. But anyway, thanks for listening. Those of you who are listening, thanks for listening and watching. To those of you who are watching, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know if we're talking a bunch of BS. Let us know if you agree. Like, we want your feedback. That means a lot to us because that's why we do it. You guys listen and, comment and share your stories, and we just keep hitting record. So enjoy the rest of your day. And you can find this podcast on, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere where podcasts are available. You can go to YouTube if you want to listen to it there. I'll post it on Facebook. You can find us if you are a person in 2019 and you have technology at your disposal. You can find us. Help us grow. We wanna be better than Joe Rogan, right?
That's gonna be.
One day, Ben and Brittany are gonna be on the Joe Rogan show. Like, oh my God, we said this podcast number 2. Oh, we're here, Joe. What's up?
I'll just sit there like this.
Yeah, no, I love Joe Rogan, but I love Brittany too. So I want everybody to hear about Brittany and how amazing she is. So, on that note, we're signing off. Later.